Plaintiff Valerie Morrell says the defendant is her daughter, and they've always been close. Valerie claims she made one mistake with her daughter, and that was allowing her to get her first tattoo when she was 16 years old. And after that, she became addicted to them. Valerie's suing her daughter for several unpaid loans. Defendant Trisha Evangelista says her mother is her best friend, and there's nothing they can't talk about. Trisha admits that she was forced to borrow money after she broke up with her boyfriend and discovered she was pregnant, but she feels her mother has not given her enough time to repay.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Prove your case.
Well, my daughter and I love her to death. For the first 8 years of her life, it was only me and her. Her father was never around. He disappeared as soon as I got pregnant. So we've had an extremely close relationship. We tell each other everything.
She's the only child?
I do have a 15-year-old son who I had remarried, but we...
You remarried a 15-year-old?
No, I remarried and had a son, and now he's 15.
Okay, go ahead.
But we still had...
I'm a little sleep deprived. I woke up in the middle of the night, so
we
I'm
have
a
a
little
very
off.
different relationship.
All right.
She's like my best friend.
Yes, my daughter and wife, they talk like a couple of times a day. I'm like, let the girl go to college. Right. As we speak, she went down to San Diego Law School where my daughter goes to visit her. I'm like, it's in the middle of the week. Let her go to school.
I make her call me all the time.
All the time.
All
you
the
all
time.
talk every day.
Yeah, and if I don't hear from her, I get mad at her.
Same thing.
Gotta make sure she's safe.
By the way, they won't even turn my call. My boys and girls.
Yeah. I know your name.
Takes 2 days.
What do you want?
Right. Oh, no, I get the call when they want money.
Yeah,
go ahead. Oh, I see. This is a money issue also.
Yeah.
But at least you hear from her in times other than her need for money.
Yes, I'm there for anything she ever needs. But
Was she a
admittedly,
good student?
she was an excellent student, always all A's.
Good.
She worked since the day she was able to, always had a job, went to school.
Okay, let me hear from her. Young lady, tell me about your relationship with your mother, and then tell me about yourself before we get to the loans she's suing you about.
Okay, Your Honor. Well, first off, I would like to agree with my mother in saying that we are best friends.
How old are you?
I am 23 years old.
Go ahead. I was trying to think, well, I'm going to get in trouble not remembering my daughter's age. Let me be quiet.
We are best friends.
That is 22 or 23. Go ahead.
There's not a single topic that, we can't talk about. She knows everything about me.
I know the birthday is September 2nd.
Right there.
I got to get out of trouble. I'm sorry, man. I'm listening, but I have to get out of trouble and think of everything I can to keep my daughter from not returning my calls even more. Go ahead.
I do call my mother at least once a day, and if I don't hear from her, I know I'm going to get a call back later on. Otherwise, I will get yelled at.
22. 1988. Go ahead.
I do not speak to my father, actually. As my mother had stated, he's never been around. My mother's all I've had my whole life. I wouldn't trade our relationship in for anything. As she mentioned, I've always been a great student. I paid my way through cosmetology school as soon as I got out of high school. I've had a job since the day I was 14. I've always worked full-time. I've succeeded in every career I've ever had.
All right. So sounds like other than this issue we have here today, that you've done a good job.
Yes, thank you. I have.
Congratulations. Yeah. There's a lot of single mothers that need to view this today and understand what has to be done.
I couldn't ask for anything better than what I have.
How does she owe you for this loan?
Well, I guess it started when she was 16. I guess I made a mistake. I took her for her first tattoo, because I have a few, and I didn't see anything wrong with, she won a couple cherries. Didn't see anything wrong with that. My brother thought she was a slot machine. He was going to keep pulling her arm, see all 3 cherries come up. But from there, it kind of escalated. She worked in the mall. I was there one day, and I was surprising her. And I ended up getting the surprise. I sold another tattoo on her when she wasn't old enough to get another one without my permission. We got into a big to-do about that. her 18th birthday. I call her to say happy birthday. I'm all excited. And I hear a noise. I'm like, what's that noise? Nothing. I'm going, no, Trish, what's that noise? I'm getting a full sleeve for my birthday. And I'm like furious. My mother's going to kill her because my mother's older and she does not like this sort of stuff. She doesn't like mine. So I told her she had to wear a sweater whenever she came around.
Did she obey any of that?
She did. Right up until my mom passed away, she did wear long sleeves whenever she came around my mom.
But only then.
Only then.
Around you,
I got the pleasure of seeing it.
Okay.
Yes, which I don't. There's one of hers I love, the rest I don't like.
All right.
One says mom.
Sorry to keep mentioning my daughter, but I want folks to know I have the same issues that everybody else. And my daughter, she just doesn't listen to me. She listens to her mother. I can remember she went to Ireland for class, something, a school trip. And as you say, and I don't think most people in Ireland drink as much as people project them to, but you have the belief that Irish drink a lot. And you're Irish, and that's your belief. She's shaking her head. Are you all Irish as well?
We're Irish too.
Oh, and you are convinced that most Irish people drink a lot.
Well, parts of my family.
All right. Well, she was over in Ireland, and her mother talks to her, and then I get the phone, and she's like, yeah. I say, have you been drinking? I said, I know you've been. She's like, get a life. I said, what? I said, you better be glad you're overseas. Anyhow, Lord have mercy. Then what happened from there? Get to these loans.
The loans. Okay. My daughter didn't want to live with me anymore. She wanted to move out, be on her own with her boyfriend. Which was fine with me, except she needed money to get a couch and carpeting. And she was young, so she didn't have credit. So, like I said, she worked all the time, and she always had plenty of money, so I had no problem. So how did you loan it?
Did you charge it and she was to repay?
I put it on my credit card.
All right, and what was the time frame for repayment?
We had...
When was the loan made? Month and year?
That was in August of 2008 for the carpet and the couch and chair.
How much has she paid you since then?
Nothing.
In 2 years?
She kind of has an excuse for the past year.
What's that?
Well, that would be the third loan I made her. She had moved to Chicago with a boy. I'm not sure how long she knew him, but it wasn't long. Picked up all of her belongings, couch, beds, everything, moved here to Chicago, Champaign.
Let me ask about this loan, young lady.
What happened was I had been dating somebody, and looking back on it, bad mistake. We all make them. We had been dating for, some time longer than what my mother seems to think is the case. And he had a job offer out here in Illinois and asked me to move along with him. So I did, and I dropped everything I had back home. I got rid of my job, my wonderful apartment, friends, family, dropped it all. And we moved out to Champaign, Illinois. We were living there for about 6 months. He decided it wasn't worth it anymore, and kind of...
What wasn't worth it?
Me.
Really?
Yeah.
After how long?
We had been together for about 8 months.
How long did you know him before moving in with him?
4 months.
4 months.
We all make mistakes.
Okay, I was just curious. All right, so you won't make that mistake again, I'm sure.
No.
All right, so what does that have to do with the loans? Is that why you're saying you cannot afford to pay her today?
2 days after we had decided to split up and we were still living together, we had also discovered that I was 3 months pregnant. Upon finding that out, I had called my mother, who I do go to everything, and she's my fallback. I lost the child 4 months into the pregnancy.
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you. And I had nowhere else to go. It was either be homeless or my mother helped me find a new apartment to live in back home.
Right.
So she paid my security deposit and my first month's rent.
Okay, why don't you think you owe her?
I do owe her money. I do not think it's fair that she's taking me to court after it's been so little time. She's my mother. I'm her daughter.
It's been 2 years. That's not little.
This was within the past year.
How about the one in 08? Were there any in 08?
That one I still need to pay back, but her being
Right,
my
all
mother-
of them need to be paid back. What are you talking about? All of them need to be paid back. Judgment for the plaintiff, $4,550. Hopefully you'll learn a lesson. As you said, we all make mistakes. This was another mistake. And you'll learn from this, and I'm sure that's the type of love your mother was giving you today, was tough love. All right, good luck. That is tough love with emphasis on love. All right, you see how tough love is supposed to go? We love each other. We talk all the time. However, if she does wrong, she's going to have to pay for her own issue, and she'll learn by me holding her accountable. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
I just want to say how much I love my daughter, and I only did this so that maybe she can realize the mistakes she made and learn from them.
My mom knows I love her to death, and although I may not have agreed with coming here, I suppose it is a lesson learned.
Oh, I get to hug her now. Love you.
Thanks, I love you too.